It's time for Quarantine Cabaret and Cocktails with Robert Bannon and Lee Lessack.
Lee, how are you? We have to get... Now you're there. Hi, are you there? I can't hear. It's me and Lee, whose volume is off, but he's coming back.
There you go.
See, last week I deleted the opening last week. This week
I was muted.
this is what we do. Welcome to our...
Some people might think that's a blessing. I don't know.
No one thinks that, Lee. No one.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? Welcome to another week number 15. Quarantine.
Is that crazy? This is crazy. 15 weeks of
and
you.
15 weeks. That's, talk about a nightmare for some people.
Cheers. Cheers to 15 weeks.
Cheers to 15 weeks. I just have water tonight, Lee. Life's, And hello, everybody. Hello,
you do
America.
you.
Thank you, Lee. How are you? Listen, when we have a pre-show that goes on before this show on the Instagram, and Lee's Kitchen is more famous than anything. There were so many comments about Lee's Kitchen. Literally,
I have a kitchen. I kind of have. You want to see?
Mm-hmm.
This was yesterday. This was my day yesterday.
Lee, firstly, can I just talk about that music? It felt like this was like I was on a Match.com like data sync app.
Maybe you are. Maybe you are.
Bump, bump. How do you feel? Congratulations on your beautiful brand new sync.
I'm excited. It's we've been without a kitchen for 2 weeks. Just a lot of dust, and so I'm happy to have counters and a sink. That's all I have so far, but that's a start.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how you went from having a leak in your living room and got a new kitchen. But
when you live with an interior designer, they can actually justify how a leak in your living room gets them a new kitchen.
And he did. So kudos.
And who was I to argue? Why would I argue?
No, absolutely. But other than the kitchen, have you been hanging in there? You doing okay?
Yeah. So
I'm here.
You know what? It's Thursday already.
It's
a strange thing that on some level, time is frozen in this quarantine, and then time flies by. It's bizarre. It's just bizarre. Like it's already Thursday.
I understand. And it feels like that. I feel like we've been stuck in quarantine for years. But when you look at...
Talk to me next, June.
Well, the scary thing is, I hope we're all, following rules, wearing masks, and continuing to take it seriously. Because when you see the states and the numbers and stuff, I just want us to be okay. I want us all to be all right. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with you. Somebody posted something today that I just thought was so amazing, which was how, obviously, the narrative here in America is a little off in terms of, how to stop this. But the way that they expressed it was, which I had never thought of that before, was that in Europe, the countries paid people to stay home so that they could flatten the curve. I never thought of it that way. So anyway.
And you would hope, hi mom, that's Rose.
Is that mom?
Speak about
mom.
Hospital workers and people that work in the hospital. That's my mom's. I just want people to. I just want people to. It's not a political issue, to just take care of each other and keep each other safe.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So I hope that we all can keep each other safe and care about one another. I know we have a Hamilton show today. Me and Lee are fans. Lee, when was the first time you saw it?
I saw the original production like shortly after it opened. It was I don't know what month it opened, but that January, because I'm always in New York for a conference in January, and my sister, who lives in Philadelphia, came and we went to see it together.
Did you like sell your car, your house, your life savings to get a ticket to be there? Because I did.
I did get. Oh. Do you know how I got my house seats?
I want to know.
So I own a booking agency as well.
Yes.
And I was sending an offer to Annalie Ashford to do a concert in Indianapolis. Okay. And I went through her manager and I called the number and it said, and I can't remember, Andy, I think his name was, if you want, Andy, whatever, press 1. If you want Hamilton house seats, press 2. And I was like, God!
No, you didn't.
So when he called me back, I was like, I have a question about your voicemail message. Like, what's the Hamilton house seat thing? And he was like, we're the general managers of Hamilton. So I literally had a hookup to Hamilton house seats from like day one, all over the world.
Well, I bought my ticket the first.
No, I bought my ticket too, but at least I got a ticket.
But I bought mine like StubHub. I was not singing and acting again. I was just trying to figure out what I was doing. I bought one seat. I ended up sitting right behind Sylvester Stallone, which is a show in of itself.
Of course you did.
Watching Sylvester Stallone watch a musical is a whole special web series in and of itself. And then, thanks to our guest tonight, Bryan Terrell Clark, when he was George Washington and we would go to the same gym and he's a sweetheart and a gentleman of a man. I said to him one day, like, I was the annoying person. I know all of our guests today have been inundated with questions and requests for tickets. I literally was like, Bryan, I hate to be that person, but like, do you think?
But I am.
I would get a ticket, maybe just a little bit of, and of course we did. So I was excited.
Crazy.
Before we make people disappear, Lee, and before we move on to In Good Company, can we just like give a tease about the next 2 weeks before the end of the show?
We can. So this is our 15th episode, which is crazy. And we have booked the rest of the month. We started doing these just randomly. We've been doing these Broadway cast reunions because a friend of mine had referred this adorable kid, he's not even a kid, he's 12, Jake Ryan Flynn, who was Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on Broadway, and now he's the son in the new Mrs. Doubtfire musical, which obviously closed down while they were in previews. And so I was chatting with his mom, arranging for him to be on our show, like 4 weeks ago, something like that. And she said, Jake wanted me to ask you if you thought it was a good idea, he could invite some of the other cast members. And I was like, okay. Well, before I knew it, we had the entire principal cast of Mrs. Doubtfire on our show. I was like, I couldn't have coordinated this if I had tried. Yeah. And our viewers loved it. So that was great. We've done the cast of Falsettos. Tonight we've got Hamilton. Next week we have the entire original Broadway cast, the principal cast of Sideshow. We haven't confirmed Norm Lewis, so that may not be, but I hope he comes. And but I put him on there anyway because I'm hopeful. And then, are you ready for this? To round out the month on July 30th, we have Chita Rivera for the whole show.
Rivera is here for the whole hour.
And her daughter, Lisa Mordente. And our special guest host, Michael Orland, musical director from American Idol, and the man that produced my very first album in 1995.
Well, Michael Orland is a friend of me and Lee's, and he's friends with Chita, and it's Lisa Mordente's, her daughter's birthday.
Right?
It's going to be quite the show. So what a way to end July, and then we start booking August already. So
I love it. And in August, we have Melissa Manchester coming on. She has a new album coming out. We're going to talk about that. She's going to release a single on our show, which is great.
Who knows who's
Yeah, it's just been fun. This has been super fun. And anyway, so this week we have another release of the In Good Company reunion. And I'm going to talk about it for a moment. And while I do, maybe you can text our first guest because I don't see him backstage.
We'll be here.
So anyway,
we're live. It's a super duper.
We are live. This is, if he doesn't show up, what can I say? I'm gonna have to call Lin-Manuel Miranda and have him sub. But anyway, at the very beginning of this lockdown, a friend of mine in New York texted just to see how I was doing and checking in, and she said, I have been listening to your albums, especially your duets album, and it is bringing me a great deal of calm in an otherwise anxiety-ridden time. And I showed it to Mark, and he said, you should release this, figure out a way to reach your social media audience, because the album was released 15 years ago. And there wasn't Instagram. So I called a friend of mine and asked him, he's a great editor and he's very big on social media. And I said, how do I reach that audience? And he said, you need to do it through video. I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? Because we're in quarantine. So we started doing Zoom interviews that he then edits into like a short, like minute, 2 minute little sizzle. And I'm interviewing each artist that I recorded with. I recorded with 17 artists, and just reintroducing. And every Friday we drop a new song with links to where you can listen to it for free. And it wasn't about profit. It was just about sharing this experience, because I've done, I think 8 albums, and this album was just one of the most incredible experiences. When the reason behind it was that I own a record label, and I produce and distribute for like 140 some artists, and it was the 10-year anniversary of the label. And so we wanted to do a project to celebrate 10 years. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if this album could sell like 5 more copies than the last 4 albums? Is that too much to ask? And so I thought, why don't we do a duets album, and I'll invite artists that are like bigger names than me, which is like a wide open playing field. And so everybody I asked said yes. Stephen Schwartz and I recorded a male duet of For Good before Wicked was Wicked, Amanda McBroom, who wrote the song The Rose from the movie The Rose, we did a duet, the first ever duet of The Rose. I recorded with Michael Feinstein and Maureen McGovern and Ann Hampton Calloway, and it's just was a great experience. So tonight, and then tomorrow, I am reintroducing, you remember the Journey tune, Open Arms?
I sure do.
Brian Lane Green and I
love that song.
I love that song. Well, Brian Lane Green and I turned it into a duet and recorded it. And Brian was a Tony nominee for Starmites on Broadway. He was Huck Finn in Big River. He was in The Life, the Cy Coleman musical on Broadway. He was Joseph in the big revival tour. He was a big soap star on All My Children and all Days of Your Life or something. I don't know. I don't watch soap operas, but one of those. Anyway, so and he's a dear friend, and this is our little reunion.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian Lane Green.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to remember whose idea it was for us to do a duet of Open Arms.
Not mine.
It wasn't yours.
No,
Okay.
I think it was Mark. Wasn't it Mark? Yeah.
It was probably Mark's idea. I just remember we were in New York at a rehearsal studio, and you said, just give me like this vibe, whatever it was. It was the only track that I had not like pre-rehearsed a specific harmony line or anything. And you were like, just trust me, let's just go for it. It was truly one of the most thrilling recording moments for me because it was really fresh and really in the moment. And we just kind of like danced around each other. I love it.
No, it was good. No, and I listened to it the other day, and it's like, oh, that's cool the way we did things.
It's
we
a very
told the story.
different...
We told the story
Yes.
rather than No, it was great. It was great. I wasn't that the first one that you recorded?
I think you were,
or maybe the first arrangement we did or something. Yeah.
I think it was, and I just love when I listen to Open Arms. I just love the nuances and the vocal dance.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I missed that. It was nice.
I think that this project in particular really moves people, and I'm just so glad that it's bringing joy and comfort, and I love sharing it, and I really am enjoying reconnecting with these artists. I mean, you are a dear friend, and I'm in touch with you, but there are artists that I literally have not spoken to since this recording. And so it's been great. It's been really nice to, revisit it.
So am I smelling a concert?
Wanting you near, how much I wanted you home.
Listen,
I always forget about your food segment.
listen, you like Sarah Jessica Parker's wine. America runs on Dunkin'. Okay.
Oh my God! You're actually eating a donut. I love that.
You can want. I live for the Dunkin'. We have a big show this week.
We do. We do. So Hamilton there's like such a buzz about Hamilton right now because of the Disney Plus movie that they released, which I thought was great. I've seen the show live several times. I loved this rendition. I really did. I saw things and heard things that I had missed when I saw the Broadway production and the touring production, and I thought it was really well done. I was impressed. I've watched it twice already. So anyway, we've got 3 cast members from 3 different Hamilton companies, but we're going to start out with an incredibly talented guy who was George Washington in the Broadway company of Hamilton, and he his name is Bryan Terrell Clark. Made his Broadway debut playing Marvin Gaye in Motown the Musical. And I'm just going to play you a little video of him that we've put together, and then we're going to chat with him.
So you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? Tell me what's going on.
As the British take Brooklyn, night takes Rook, but look, we are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. We gotta make an all-out stand. Hey, yo, I'm gonna need a right-hand man. Something like that.
Me out, I fall apart. Oh, can you imagine? Oh, it knocked me out, I fall apart. Look around, look around. It's quiet uptown. You will like it uptown.
Brian!
Hey, what's going on, peoples?
Hey, thank you so much
How are you?
for being here.
Man, I am really, really, really good, to be honest. I think that this has been an insane time for the entire world. But I feel
Yep.
like on some level, we've all been asked to have like a collective Selah, a selective pause, a selective sit your ass down. And it's been great. It's been really, it's been really great. I feel like it's been a great time for self-care. It's been a great time for expansion and reflection. And in a weird way, I think that the earth itself was kind of purging during COVID. I mean, literally, part of the ozone layer started to heal itself.
True.
I know a lot of the smog went away. I'm here in Los Angeles right now. A lot of the smog went away. I heard that COVID had some great effects on the ocean, apparently. Like, there's lots of like good things that happen. And then on top of that, we've had all this civil unrest, which has been a really interesting time. I think that one of the positive things that have come from this administration is that the lines are very clear. There's not a lot of ambiguity in terms of what people feel and what people think. There's something about this time where people are very vocal and very specific. Every Karen out there is like, I'm not wearing my mask. But what's kind of great about this time is, going back to Hamilton is first of all, shout out to the original cast. I mean, we needed that breath of fresh air, which was this Disney airing of the show. But it was interesting when I joined the show, because when I first joined the show, I felt like it was such a celebration of diversity. It was such a celebration of the opportunity for visibility, because representation does matter. And I just watched the show and thought to myself, my God, it's so perfect. Nobody should touch it. It's just amazing. Don't send me in for it. And my team said, well, you've been asked to come in for Washington. How do you feel about that? And I was like, okay, let's give it a go. I mean, I love Chris. He's insanely talented. I think my Washington might be a little different. Let's see if we can, add anything. And the day I got hired was the day that the cast decided to speak to Mike Pence from the stage.
No, wow.
Yeah, and so we went and then my first show was Barack Obama's last speech. So he was giving his one last time speech as I was singing it. He was in Chicago literally giving his speech as I was singing the one last time speech for Washington. And so I kind of knew early that this was going to be a different experience for me. What started off as this celebration of diversity and inclusion, I think became in an odd, weird way, almost a protest.
Sure.
And I feel that like sometimes when you stand in spaces that were not created for you, your presence alone is the protest. Your joy alone is the protest. It's something that I've been kind of encouraging people to do because, as we've been dealing with COVID and civil unrest, everybody's contribution is different. It's not just about Black or white. It's about honestly in your heart what you think the world should be. And sometimes there's a shaking up and things are tough. We have hard conversations and we feel uncomfortable. But I think that everybody's protest isn't yelling and screaming. Some people's protest is joy. Some people's protest is celebration. If you look at what happened, specifically around other movements, right? So like the women's rights movement, or like specifically around like Pride, right? Pride started off as a riot. Pride was a protest, right? And now it's still a protest. It's just shown through sheer unapologetic joy and celebration of who we are. And I think that we're dealing with a version of that right now. You know what I mean? And so it's an interesting time. Interesting time, but we're here, and that's how I'm doing. I'm doing good.
There you go.
And hey, JJ. JJ says hey to me and you. Hi, JJ.
That's a singing brother right there. What up, JJ?
You could catch him up here with Michael Bublé. I am such a fan. Firstly, Bryan is the nicest person. I was eating a donut. Me and Bryan used to go to the same gym. Don't tell Roderick I was eating a donut. I'll be in so much trouble.
Has everyone kind of suffered a little bit, if we're honest, from the COVID-15?
Yes.
Because COVID 30. COVID 30. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Month 5.
It's been insane. I'm just like, maybe I'll just like not eat. Like, what is I went on a 3-day cleanse just to see what would happen. I feel like I lost weight for a day.
Well,
I think we need a 30-day cleanse.
if you haven't seen Bryan in Hamilton or when he was in Motown the Musical, Bryan has done extensive work on television. Please watch When They See Us on Netflix. He is not the
Oh, good. I already saw it.
He's not so nice.
Not so nice.
But you were amazing. And I thought about, and I see that on streaming platforms, talking about this time, how important it is to be a part of the conversation and see art reflecting the society.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Bryan, where in LA are you?
I'm in this place called Lake Balboa.
Oh, sure.
And it's been really a blessing. I got to be honest, because who knew that COVID was going to happen? And I'm such an East Coast guy. But when I was looking to buy, for some reason, I kept feeling the call back out west. And
wow.
And I got to be honest, like having like water and sunshine and so much to do outside has, to be honest, helped keep my sanity. I could not imagine what it would be like, even if you've got like some money, to live in New York and just kind of be stuck. Part of the appeal of New York is the culture of the community. Sure. It's one of the reasons we love New York so much. And that's the thing that's been isolating, right? So like so much love and prayers and like support have been going out to all my people in New York. But I'm in Los Angeles, and I have to be honest, I have been outside laying around like a white woman trying to tan. You hear me? I've been laid out, okay?
Well, Bryan, I'm in LA too, so you'll have to come over for some socially distanced pool time at my house with this white woman laying around.
Get it, Lee. Get it. We will lay around together. Oh,
have you been writing? Bryan is an accomplished songwriter. You can listen to him. Mary J. has sung his music. He's sung with everybody. Have you been? The My Life 2 album, you can listen to Bryan's music on it.
Well, I know that Bryan has another appearance he's making on another live stream, but before we let you go, I want to talk about your Indefined charity for a moment, because I think it's incredible. I was going to wear the t-shirt, but Robert sent me like a petite, and I ain't a petite. Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
The sweatshirt is on. I have the sweatshirt on. I have the sweatshirt.
I don't even know if we carry that anymore, but just really quick, I started Indefined, and you can check us out at www.in-defined. And the idea behind the brand was that I just became really frustrated with labels. I think as an actor, I'm often typecast, but then on top of that, I think that we as a society we have so many labels to unpack, right? As opposed to just allowing us to just be. So the whole idea behind even the name of it, this that I started with my friend Robert Rader, is about defining yourself from within. So that's why it's called In-Defined. It's defining yourself from within, In-Defined. And we started off, honestly, by just putting words like hate with a line through it, fear with a line through it, racism with a line through it. And the funding was going to at-risk youth, or like I'd like to say, underserved communities, and arts education. Well, we've expanded that now. And so a lot of my frontline protests, again, there's lots of ways to protest. A lot of my frontline protests and Robert's have been through Indefined. So when you buy any of our apparel, any of our shirts, this summer, all of our support is going to the Equal Justice Initiative. Brian Stevenson is an amazing, contributor to the fight for justice everywhere. And we just felt like the Equal Justice Initiative was just like the right place to go. So if you guys, support in any way, get some really cool merchandise, some cool clothes, check us out, and just know that your money is going to a good place. So Equal Justice Initiative is where it's going.
I have been asked when I wear my fear shirt, or when I wear my anti-racism shirt, or when I wear the Indefined shirt, so many people ask about it. Not only does the money go to a good place, but they look so good, and they are made of really nice material. I talked to Robbie today. Hi, Robbie. He said,
Robbie. We love you, man.
They have put together the most brilliant campaign, and it's such a wonderful statement that I love.
Well, I'm gonna order one, because what Robert sent me is literally like a hanky. But I'm going to order like an
both,
actual T-shirt.
Well, we're both in LA, so you know, we'll social distance, and I'll just bring one over.
That's a date.
Come back to
There
the
we
East Coast, Brian. What are you doing out there?
No, once
Listen,
you come here, you do not leave.
I know, and here's the thing. I made a mistake. So you guys, say a little prayer for me. I'm going to be in my hazmat suit soon because my niece was on the phone and she said, Uncle Bryan, I know what I want for my birthday. And I said, what? She said, I want you to be my special guest. And I said, okay, great. I got you. And then her mom got on the phone and said, Brian, how are you going to be her special guest? I was like, put me on Zoom, put me on the TV. And she was like, that's not what she meant. So soon and very soon, I'll be wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in every precaution. And I'll be flying to Baltimore for my baby niece's birthday. So I will be back on the East Coast, risking it all for the kids.
That's very sweet. I'll have you over before that.
Yes. Yeah. And I also feel like, just as with everything, even with STDs, I always say, get tested. It's better than no. And so, it's the same thing with the COVID test. If it's available, I know that it's varying state to state. And we're all just kind of, in the thick of it right now. But if you can get tested, I say get tested. They're trying to push people back. So only if you have symptoms. But as we know, we're still finding out a lot about this. And there are people who don't have any symptoms.
Right.
So,
right.
If you can get tested, especially if you've been exposed or around anybody who has it, just shout out to every frontline worker, and everybody go get tested.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us.
The sweetest. Thank you so much for being here. He is absolutely amazing on stage. If you seen him in Hamilton, see him in anything. He is brilliant. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
I appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Brian.
Bye.
Wow.
The General, George Washington, Hamilton on Broadway.
So sweet. So we've got 2 more Hamilton stars.
We sure do.
Yeah, we do. I'm going to just say a quick little thing about each of them. Ariana Afsar, I literally met, I think, 2 years ago, because one of the concerts that LML Music Presents produces is called On Broadway, and she's one of the stars of that show. And I did not know her, and she is incredible. She opened the Chicago Company of Hamilton, starring as Eliza in that, and she is like a force to be reckoned with. She has a degree in ethnomusicology, which I had to look up because I've never heard of that before. Ethnomusicology jazz, which is like it's a music degree and about different races and their connection to music and whatnot. From UCLA. I know, it's crazy. She released an EP recently called Somewhere I Thought I'd Be.
I listened.
She wrote a musical
in her spare time
called Jeanette, which is about the first woman elected to Congress. In her spare time, she opened for Michelle Obama at the Shrine Auditorium, which I need to talk to her about because that just gives me goosebumps.
I'm so tired.
I know. Wait, she was Miss California 2010. She was the top 10 of Miss America 2011, and she's in the top 36 alumni of American Idol. I feel like I've done nothing in my 57 years on this planet. Is that crazy?
Well, I feel very...
Okay, so she's joining us, and my buddy Blaine Krause, who I met, I'm going to say 5 years ago. I could be wrong. We'll ask him. I produced and toured with a show called The King, and it was a symphonic tribute to the music of Elvis. So it was kind of like Jersey Boys sing the Elvis songbook. It was really classy, tuxedos and great harmonies, and it was very popular. And there was one weekend where we were double booked in Canada and Indiana. And so we had to double cast it. And so Blaine covered one of the tracks in the Indiana show. And I met him. And oh my God, this voice. I had never heard of him. I had never heard of him. This voice was incredible. And he had just graduated from CCM, Cincinnati Conservatory of, is that right? Of music? Did I get that right?
Sure.
Well, whatever, he'll correct me. And moved to New York and was, auditioning and trying to get his big break. He made his Broadway debut in The Great Comet with Josh Groban. And then he went into Kinky Boots. He was in one of the drag queens in Kinky Boots, and then he took over the role of Lola. Incredible. Then he did the Cher show, the entire run of the Cher show, and he literally had just moved to Toronto and opened the Hamilton Company there, covering the role of Hamilton and Burr.
How do you?
And everything closed down. I don't know. How about that? So there you go. So Robert loves making little sizzle reels.
It keeps me busy. Some people need
it. Does. So we've sizzled Ari and Blaine. We've sizzled them together. So take a look at what he created, and then they'll be on the show.
Is a girl who wants to pay it forward.
Hi, I'm Afsar. I'm 16 and I'm from San Diego, California. 3 little birds sat on my window.
All right, let's go. Randy, yes or no?
Yes.
Kara? Yep. Paula? Yes. Son?
4 yeses.
7 years of bad life. It's first from you.
Hey!
Oh, there they are!
Hi, Blaine. Hi, Ari.
Yay, Blaine!
You feel like this is an episode of This Is Your Life?
Let me tell you. First of all, Ari, I didn't even know 2/3 of that information. I love my life. Why am I here? What am I doing?
Oh look at you.
And what's crazy too is, Ari, I was over my best friend's place last night. He's COVID, he's fine. Mind your business. But we were watching, we didn't want to watch Hamilton for the 80th time, the movie. And I was like, let's go do some bootlegs. Let's go on YouTube and see the other versions. And we watched you're on there. And I was like, because I've never seen you in the show or anything. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm taking over. And then Bryan, what was that? That was fuel to my soul.
Yeah. Amazing.
And then the production value. That's where I'm at currently. I've caught you up.
Well,
I'm impressed.
Both of you, I feel like I better add a lot more to my to-do list for tomorrow after hearing what you guys are up to. Thank you guys for being here with us. We so appreciate it.
We do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We do.
So exciting. So exciting to meet you, Blaine.
Yes. Before we hop into Hamilton Land, I just wanted to give a shout out because you started with three other women, a charity at the beginning of this COVID crisis. And I think it's incredible. It's called Until We Do. And you have raised money and distributed over 50 million. Am I correct?
That's the goal, but we've distributed 519,000.
Oh, that's all. Okay, 50 million goal, 519,000 to date. They're distributing masks to Black and Brown communities across the country. And I just think that's incredible that you took action.
I don't know about you all, but like in the beginning of COVID, I was very disheartened. I was like, this is just my mental health. Like, art is stupid. I don't want to be doing art. I needed something else that was going to be inspiring me because I felt so disheartened. And so my friend and I, partner Kane, I got connected with her future sister-in-law and then her best friend at Spelman University. Anyway, and so the four of us got connected and we're like, what should we do? How can we start? And we just, unfortunately, to no surprise, Black and Brown communities being disproportionately affected by COVID because of our healthcare system. And we're like, let's just start there and figure out what it is. Never would I find myself in the PPE space. What the hell?
Wow, it's amazing.
No, you will have a PPE question. I will tell you all about it.
How can people help support you and support the charity?
Yeah, thank you.
Where can people donate?
Yes, if you go to untilwedoit.org, that is our website, and then our social handles on Instagram are at untilwedoit.org.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so can you guys each tell us about your journey to doing the show? I mean, Blaine, you covered tracks in the show that I can't imagine how long it takes to memorize all of those words.
Opposite track.
I had to follow. I just wanted to get my follow in before I forget. Because I will forget. How'd I get? Oh yeah. So actually, it's so funny. So I first saw Hamilton when it opened, and I got lottery seats, I think, because I sat front row. So I was like, really watched the whole show like that, and was just like, it was too much to consume at that time. It just, everything it's unreal. It's unreal. It is like all other forms of art that isn't performative, where you keep going back, you get something more and more and more and more. And like, so that was my experience. And then I also kind of just wrote it off. I don't know why, but just the way things happened and then my own little things I tell my own self about my life and what is possible. I was like, oh, I'll never, I'll probably pass me, blah, blah, blah. And then show closed and a spot open for standby position. And I always saw myself as a Burr for sure, like, because he sings the most, like, of the leads. And I actually never thought of myself as a Hamilton, although I always secretly wanted to be.
Of course.
But I was like, you're not scrappy. You're not, what they kind of look like, just presentation wise, like, and then that happened, and that was like an unleashing. That was like, I was living my political, everything I've ever wanted to say, Barack Obama, preparing for my own run dreams. And it's been really great and humbling, and learning it is the hardest, most difficult thing I've ever done in my entire life. And that's just learning it on paper, because I'm watching interviews with Lynn, he's posting on Twitter. I'm like, oh, is that what it's about? Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, is that what okay. So
now you went on and you've gone on for both characters.
Yeah. I also do King George. So I learned Burr and Hamilton. I got to do them twice, and it was just
amazing.
So good.
King George is up my alley. 6 minutes, one song. No,
yes, that's even
Ari, how was your journey to being a part of the show?
So I had never seen the show. I mean, I always joke and I say like the easiest way to see the show was to be in the show. And so one of my best friends saw the show and he was like, I think you'll be perfect for Peggy. Like you need to do Peggy. And I was like, okay, I don't know what anything is. And so then I went and auditioned. I was actually in LA. Musical theater was not of my, I'm primarily a songwriter. So I was in LA doing the whole songwriting situation. And then I had this opportunity to go to New York and sign with this agent. I was like, okay, why not? Let me just be antithesis of Ariana and buy a one-way ticket to New York. And I was there for a month. And Hamilton was one of the first auditions. And then they just had me keep singing. Actually, I only had 2 auditions, so I didn't even know what any of the roles were because then you just sing, all of the females sing all the same parts. So I had to sing Satisfied, and I didn't even sing Burn. I think I sang Satisfied and Helpless. Gosh, it's now so long ago. It's like I feel like it's like 5 years ago. Yeah, and then it happened super quickly. I was cast. Well, I guess I had a long time. I was cast in March, and then we started rehearsals in August. And this was, so I was cast before the Tonys happened. So it was like an interesting, I got to be a part of, the inception of what it is now. It felt like a little bit of a baby when I, knew about it and kind of joined the company. So that was really, really cool.
That's so great. That's so great. Now, Blaine, what's the word? Because I'm not exactly clear on like where Canada is in terms of the pandemic and the process. What's the word about them opening up again?
The word is when you get a word.
Are you in Canada right now?
No, I'm in New York.
He's in New York.
You said that, sorry.
Yeah. No, we had just, I don't even remember. You said something earlier about how we're like frozen right now. It's like,
right.
I don't even remember how long we were, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. And then, it all went down. And what was weird though, is because they had such a great handle on it comparatively, it was like, we really felt so distant. And at one point we were like the last company standing, but we all knew it was inevitable. It was going to be,
wow.
But I think Jeffrey Sellers, he is he's a smart man, and he's very connected with people who know what they're talking about, and he's making all his decisions, based on everyone's health and safety,
right, which is great.
So, yeah, so I don't want to go back if I can.
Right.
It ain't worth it. Yeah, right. Yeah. But I think LA is opening. I saw a post about that.
No, we're on total
April,
lockdown.
But next year I think they might. LA, their goal is April next year in LA.
Yeah, I just read that. Ari, where are you?
I'm right now in San Diego in this cluttered. I'm home with my family. I moved. I normally am in LA, and then I moved out of my apartment. So in the interim. I'm with my family in San Diego before I move with my partner back to LA, who's an emergency medicine doc. So
wow.
I'll go from no risk to a lot of risk.
Wow.
Well, thank you for like
what I did for love.
Yes.
And congrats on your music. You have to. Everyone can stream her music. Her original music is out.
I know. She has this album.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Great.
So
I know.
I forgot about this album.
Can you describe it a little bit for us? What can we expect to hear on it?
On this album?
On your music style and where we could get it?
This music I released. This one I had been holding on to this music for so long, and I think at some point I had been doing, before I moved to New York, I was doing the whole meeting with labels and publishers and doing that whole grind, and it was all promises and no success. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to release the music that I've been working on and doing. Even though at the same time I'm working on Jeanette and focusing all of my attention on that. So it was kind of just like really, really freeing to finally release this music that I've been holding on to. The style, I guess, of that album is, I guess, indie pop. Jeanette as a musical which we were supposed to be performing at the Library of Congress for all the female Congress members and chief of staffs last month, but that didn't happen. So that music is like rock, pop, musical theater, I guess.
Amazing.
Can we talk for a moment about Michelle Obama?
Yeah. Oh my
Tell
God.
me everything.
I feel like I can die and it's all good. Right? Michelle Obama. And there's a picture of me where I'm like holding her hand because she makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. And you have to go to the secret like space. You can't bring your phone. So I had to wait 6 months in order to get my picture back from her. She was, I mean, I don't know. She's amazing. And so she got to hear. So I opened for Michelle Obama, and then most recently I opened for Gloria Steinem, and I got to sing music from Jeanette. And so I'm like, they know my music. Like, cool.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
That is just amazing.
We I got a message the other day from somebody, and they were looking, and I figured while we have you guys here, and you literally are both role models to a lot of young people and young theater people that watch the show with me and Lee, or people that I've worked with that are in local theater in New Jersey and New York. What you guys were talking about auditioning and putting out original music. Do you have anything you could say to people that are home, young kids that miss their shows and miss their musicals and miss singing, and how to keep active and still be participating in this crazy business of theater? You guys would know the best. Blaine, if you want to.
I would say feed whatever that urge is. I think we actually put more labels on ourselves. Look at Ari, labelless, okay? Just a Renaissance woman, just takes every aspect of her being, and wherever it pours through, who she said it, who I didn't think I would be in the PP, but that's a different energy. So I'm only saying this because a friend just gifted me The Artist Way. Which is
it's great,
book, right?
It's great,
right. And you start small and you do like journaling every day. So I'm gonna go the small level. I'm gonna say journal every day. Journal your thoughts. Journal all your ideas, and do it every single day. Watch, you'll naturally just start. Things will happen. So that's a good baby one. I never give baby. I'm always too much. Okay, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think especially right now, I believe art changes culture, and the way that we can change policy is through culture changing art. And so in this time, I think as artists, we have to absorb. There's so much change and burning down of systems, which is beautiful. And we have to be able to absorb it. Because if we don't know what we're saying as an artist, and we don't have a purpose or a mission behind it, I think it can become very tiring and taxing, regardless of like whether or not it's great art. But that can just be somebody's opinion. That's my opinion. But it's gonna be fruitless, and it's gonna be tiring and exhausting if you don't have a mission statement, if you don't have a purpose, which can change throughout your lifetime as an artist. And so I'm using that time right now to absorb.
Yeah. I love that. I forget that, right? We're
I love that too.
You have to, if you're going to be a true reflection of what's happening around you, you have to be a participant of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I love it.
My goodness.
Inspiring. Everything you absorb.
Journal everything you absorb. Yeah.
Process it. Yeah. There you go. Put it together. What do you got?
I love it. Hey, Ari, I don't know if Jonathan called you yet, but we've got some dates on Broadway.
What?
In November.
This year?
Yes.
Where? Wait.
Where?
I'm upset.
You know what happened?
You better drop this news live.
That's right here.
Know, right?
I'm the contract.
This is your life. This is your life. No, what happened is I was chatting with some presenters that I've worked with that are big roadhouses for Broadway tours. And these are, big theaters, 2,500, 3,000 seat venues. Well, there are no Broadway tours. And so generally for a venue like that, I may pitch, Chita Rivera or Lea Salonga or, like a big Broadway name, but I wouldn't pitch our Broadway review on Broadway because they are presenting Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen, whatever. Well, now they're not. And they have a Broadway loving audience and a 2,500 seat theater, socially distanced seating, you're down to 400 or 500. So your budgets are down as well. And so I was like, well, you should book on Broadway because you have a Broadway loving audience. And so we've got like 4 shows booked already. I just talked to Jonathan today. He'll be calling. He'll be calling.
Okay. Oh my God.
So, well, you're going to work. You're going to work this year.
Me and Blaine are available.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Robert, what you got for me? I'm ready.
Blaine, I'm ready. Listen, I have a backyard. There's a little pool out there. We can invite the neighbors over.
Okay, great. We're turning a 5-seater into a 2-seater.
We have our
in
own
our
party.
budget. We're going to bring the cajon and make this happen.
Me and Blaine will be down the block. We'll do the after party for your show.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
We are being very creative. We have
that. That's amazing.
We have venues that want to put on live shows.
We want people to
and
work.
then there are venues that cannot afford to do live shows, but they want to engage their patrons. So when you're in venue A doing a live show, we're also going to live stream that to venue B, which is, 3,000 miles away.
Wow.
But so, and so I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I'm doing this. I don't mean to do a plug, but I'm going to do a plug right now.
You can.
We're here.
On Saturday, Wampac, Warren Miller Performing Arts Center in Montana, which is an amazing, their tech is insane. And so I wrote a 10-minute musical about the Asian American proximity to whiteness through the grotesque representation of Officer Thao. And so I'm virtually on a scrim. And then in the back, I have a green screen in this other room. That's why I had to go in here because there's that. You don't want to see that green screen there. And then in the back, there's this animation going on. And then and there's another play that they have a scrim of a New York actor that is being projected. And then a live Montana actor that are interacting with each other.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. So
this is Black Mirror.
That is crazy.
We are, it's cool now. It's cool now. And we're going to be like, this was the beginning.
The important thing is art lives. Live theater lives. Live music lives.
Yeah, we can be creative.
When you were describing the subject of the musical of that, it just rolled off your tongue. But to me, you were speaking in tongues. I didn't get one word. What? Say it slower. Say it.
I was trying. That wasn't the point of my story, but I wanted to also say it. So it's a 10-minute musical about the Asian American representation and the proximity to whiteness, Asian American proximity to whiteness through the representation of Officer Thao, one of the officers who murdered George Floyd.
Oh, wow.
And so I have 9 Hamilton current and previous Asian cast members who have joined on the big scrim and to basically have that ownership. But you should check it out, because I'm performing, but also to see the tech aspect, which is...
How do we find it?
Yeah, if you go to WNPAC.live, Wampac.
WNPAC.live.
Yes.
Awesome.
There you go.
WNM, as in Warren Miller.
Got it. Thank God there's an edit button.
Live. Here we are, live.
I didn't need to do a plug, but I did need to do a plug. But also, how tech is what you're saying, things. It's possible. It's cool when you have creative minds that are coming up with creative solutions.
Amazing. That's amazing. It's just amazing. I love it. Well,
you two
are a bundle of talent.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
I can't wait to see you guys and where you guys are and anywhere and be, and can't wait to see you live on stage somewhere soon.
Yes.
Thank you for spending your Thursday with us.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yay, it was so
We'll see you
awesome.
soon.
Thanks for having
Be
us.
well. Be safe.
Be safe.
Guys. Well,
wow.
We made
That's
it. Another
crazy.
show.
That's crazy.
15 weeks. You know, the show we do every single week, it does cost money to have the streaming platform. If you feel the need or desire to throw us $1 or $2, the virtual tip jars on the bottom of your screen.
I am having so much fun with this show because it's never exactly what I think it's going to be.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like a
Because
wild-
when the energy and point of view of our guests come on, it changes. You know, you think, like I thought tonight was going to be all about Hamilton, and really it was very little about Hamilton, but it was fun and interesting. And these kids are like, really, it's amazing what people are doing. And fascinating.
When I went to, not to be preachy, but when I went to acting school, my acting teacher, her name is Barbara Marchand at William Esper. Me and Lee are both Meisner students, so that's why we repeat each other.
We repeat each other?
We repeat each other? She used to say, being an actor is about humanity. It's a noble profession. And a lot of people look down at the arts, but when you see these actors and these artists come on, their humanity is what's beautiful. They all have projects and they all are doing things to help mankind in general. So
yes.
It's so touching and inspiring every single week to see people and the way they're trying to impact society.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining. Robert, Thursdays are becoming my favorite day of the week.
Next week, the Sideshow cast from the Broadway Company is here.
Alice Ripley, Emily Skinner, Hugh Panaro, hopefully Norm Lewis, and we've got Sean Ryan and John Ainsworth, who are the creators of the Young Actors Theater Camp, which I had the privilege of teaching at last summer. It's incredible. They have this summer camp. I think it's a week or 2 weeks long. And they do all these different sessions, and they have like the biggest Broadway stars and TV and Disney stars come. Kristen Chenoweth and Darren Criss and Laura Bell Bundy, they all go and teach at this camp. And it was an incredible experience. And this summer, of course, they're doing it all virtually. I'm going to be doing a session with them on August 8th about the business of show business, just like a talk back Q&A thing. But Sean is going to be on our show next week talking about the programs they have, because I know a lot of parents right now are struggling with what do we do with the kids this summer. And so, now you know. Right?
Absolutely. And we will be here live, and then following that, we'll have Cheetah Rivera on the 30th. So
crazy.
We're just getting started.
I love it. Thank you all. Stay safe, stay healthy. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Thank you.
Bye,
Robert.
Bye, guys. Take care. Be well.
It's time for Quarantine Cabaret Cocktails with Robert Bannon and Lee Lessack.